Move next to what might be the most interesting game to certain parts of this Southeastern Conference nation that we live in, especially with what's been going on with coaching vacancies and openings and things of this week. But neither Ole Miss nor LSU are involved, but Alabama and Georgia are playing in the Georgia Dome, or I guess what is now the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Currently, Georgia 2.5 point favorites, totals 47.5 in this one. And this is where Alabama takes a loss. It looks ugly, and Texas finds their way in. Isn't that what you said, Lante?
I mean, it's certainly possible. I mean, the point spread is right there. Kirby definitely needs to get back on track against Alabama. Obviously, his track record it's not good dating back to when Saban was there. And we saw this matchup earlier in the season, and Alabama kind of got it done. Tale of two halves. I mean, honestly, whenever I saw this game on the card, like I wanted, like my first instinct was to say, "Hey, I'm gonna lay it with Georgia." Like I think Georgia could come out and maybe bury Alabama because Alabama has not been playing well. That score for the Auburn game kind of a little bit misleading. I thought Auburn was in that game and had chances to win, and they had a gutsy call by DeBoer late in that game to kind of put it away. But I do think they struggled in places that they probably shouldn't be struggling with later in like this late into the season. The pressure is still you can't get pressure still a little bit sloppy on offense. I don't know where Ryan Williams is. Like he's just like non-existent over the past month and a half. Um, and when you're facing a team like Georgia, who, you know, all things considered, they are somewhat of the like an equal counterpart to me. It's just that when I saw that Georgia Tech game against Georgia, like I think Georgia got outgained in that game. They were sloppy. I don't know if they just didn't care, because obviously it was a non-conference game, didn't mean much. I mean Georgia Tech is, I guess a quote unquote rival. It was on a neutral floor, so it wasn't in Georgia Tech. It's not like they have a ton of home field anyway. But like again, I don't know how dialed in they were for that game, and does that kind of bleed over into like can they just turn a switch? Is basically the question that I'm having to ask myself. And I don't think they've shown the ability to be able to play to that level and then just turn a switch. Because while they've been playing okay, they still have like some holes that I have questions about. They can't really run the ball. They don't get a ton of pressure. Stockton is still. I mean, he can hit a deep ball or two, but he's still checking the ball down at a high rate. They use a lot of screen passes to elevate. I mean, to use it as an extension of their run game. So I think the teams are fairly even, but when I'm thinking about the type of adjustments and the things that happen in second halves under Kirby Smart, I think that's where we see Georgia kind of elevate. And if it's close at the half, I think that Georgia can kind of put it away. The only way Alabama, I think, has to win this game is they have to be up, possession or two going into the third quarter, and force Georgia to play with a little bit more urgency and not play under that control because they've been comeback kids all year long. So you want to force them to kind of play left-handed, so to speak. But I do like Georgia in the game. I don't love it as much as I thought I would, but I do think Georgia is an interesting side to play as long as it's under 3 points.